It's Matt. Well, my real name is Little Thunder. My English name is Matthew Stevens.
How well is Dalton McGuinty representing the people of Ontario and the grassroots movement and First Nations? And
I think there's a strong disconnect between politicians and the communities they serve in general. It's a generalization. I know that each MPP and MP is different, but as far as with regards to what my people face, they haven't taken the time to come to us to find out, to really look with their own two eyes, the issues that we face. So they have a complete disconnect from our issues. You know, for someone like Mr. McGuinty, who I'm sure may have been to a reserve at some point in his life, but has never really lived the reserve experience or has experienced some of the things that we face, it doesn't lend him a good position to be able to effectively help us with our issues. You know, both levels of government seem to be an afterthought as far as things that matter to them when they're developing these policies. We're sort of brushed aside and we're not really a focal point because for whatever reasons it seems to be the way of things. So I think with regards to that, that extends to the full scope of Canadians also. You know, there's a number of different demographics in which people fall into, and they all have certain needs that need to be addressed and worked on. Not just big business, not just multinational corporations, not just federally run institutions, organizations. Our word for chief is gama, and that translates out to leadership. For us, to be a chief is to be the least selfish person in your community. A chief for us, a real leader, is the one that will do without when his people need of them. Or it works with women too. There is no patrilineal, matrilineal. Leaders are leaders, and they're the ones that go through hard times to help their people. And I think that the mainstream governments, they don't have that sort of philosophy. They aspire and esteem to get to these high positions of power, and when they get there, it seems like they forget about what it was that they were trying to accomplish in the first place when they decided they want to be a leader. You know, leadership does not look inwards, does not think that their power and their title and their privilege is meant strictly for them, that they are entitled to these rights and these benefits. No. So our concept of a leader is one that looks outwards, that helps as many people, all the people that they can whenever those people need. And when there's not a time of need, our people are just people. We don't carry titles around. We're not called the Right Honorable Chief Little Thunder. We're just people. We're human beings, and it's just a core fundamental difference between our cultures, and it's one that for 500 years we haven't seemed to be able to overcome. I think if the governments really want to be progressive in their approach, they need to stop and realize that what has worked in the past or what they've done in the past hasn't worked, and that if they want to move forward and make this country the beautiful place that it should be for everyone, that it's about time that they do sign that declaration, that they do give us the rights to govern our own lands, that they do acknowledge our rights. How could you ever go into someone's house, kick them out after a year of living there, and then move them to the basement apartment and charge them rent for their own house? It's the same principle, except we're talking about a whole country. You know, you move in, that's fine. I'm not saying let's go back to 1491 and, you know, no. People are here from all over the world, and that's the way of things. That's the way it is. But the bar has to be leveled off. We're down. We're held down by the system so far. They need to bring us up to the same privileges and the same rights that normal Canadians take for granted on a daily basis, that we have to fight for every day. We have to come here. We have to travel from long distances just to come here, just to even let our voices be heard. You know, if they really want us to move forward as a nation, level the playing field. Give everyone, no matter what race they are, equal playing field, and let fate and hard work and people decide what they want to become, not society. Don't have a glass ceiling that's unbreakable over people's heads. Let those little Native kids aspire to be doctors. Let them aspire to be lawyers. Let them aspire to be whatever they really want to do with their own life. Don't inhibit that by poor social conditions, taxing us on our own land. You know, these sort of things, they're just, like I said, like enough people have said today, it's not necessarily all about the tax. It's not about just this HST. To people who don't really see and just look in from an outsider's perspective, they might think that we're just a bunch of angry natives talking about money. Well, we don't, our culture is not based on money. Our culture is based on respect. And the respect that hasn't been shown to us, well, enough is enough. We've sat back and been oppressed for so long that the line's being drawn that you can't do this. It's about time that we are acknowledged and that we're free to be who we want to be. We've never once gone to Parliament and said, Stephen Harper, you can't speak English. You can't practice your beliefs. We've never done that to them. We never will, because our culture is based on respect. We welcomed the first people that came here with open arms because we knew that we could share, that if our relationship was built on one with love and trust, that we would both be fine, we would both prosper, instead of one trying to feed off the other. Look where it's gotten us. So, be Anishinaabe, it means everything. I mean, I think as far as every race, you know, we as people, human beings, have to be proud of where we come from. We have to be proud of where we come from and proud of where we're going as a people. And Native American people come from some of the most proudest nations in the whole world. We've had a lot of that ripped away from us, but it's still there. And you know, to be a young Native man in this world it makes me proud. It makes me proud of who I am, and it gives me strength. And I hope, and I see that within our people, this power that's been ripped away from us is coming back, and we're taking it back, and we're standing up firmly grounded in who we are, saying, you know what, enough is enough. You might have tried to wipe out our culture, you might have tried to disease us, you might have tried to just kill us all off or trick us, but we're still here. We're not going anywhere. We're not going to give in. We're not going to end up like the black people of North America that really shouldn't have African attached to their name. They become American. They've become something entirely different. They've lost that connection to where they actually come from as a people, and they've developed a whole new culture, a whole new way of thinking that's influenced by the dominant society in which they were brought up. And they want the same for us. That's been their agenda the whole time, was for us to melt in, become Canadian. Well, like enough people said, we're not Canadian, we never will be Canadian. We're older than Canada. Our nations have existed here for thousands upon thousands of years. Canada is celebrating its 140th birthday this year. 140 years. That's peanuts. If you look at the history of the world, I mean, that's nothing. That's just a little blip in the clock. So, I mean, we come from very proud people. We'll always hold on to it. There will always be some of us who will hold on, that will fight to our last breath to maintain our culture, our identity, our language. And going forward, we need to, because if no one does, if all the elders that carry this knowledge, if they all go away to the spirit world, well then, what's going to happen for the little ones that are young now or that haven't even come to this world yet? Who's going to take it up upon themselves to continue on with our culture, with our values? If our youth don't take up the challenge within themselves now, then we may not have a bright future for our children. So it's imperative that we stand up and be proud.